I just completed my box to the bench review and run of this engine, so now I'm going to begin my inside look. Never had one of these engines before, and I've never taken and disassembled one, so the head portion of this disassembly should be pretty interesting. Let's see how these screws kind of want to come out okay. Those screw heads look pretty bad already. Interesting to see if there's a gasket on this intake manifold. Now, I don't know that I'm going to be the first one opening this engine up, but we'll see. I don't know if I'll even be able to tell for sure or not, but okay, there is a gasket there. And we do have our characteristic large hole here in the crankcase for wrist pin extraction. Okay, here's where it might start to get kind of interesting. Not really sure what removing this screw is going to reveal, but we're only moments from finding out. Pull this plug out here real quick. Not really sure what should be going on there next. Interesting. I don't know if I just need to heat this up. I'm trying to see where the parting line is for this portion. It looks like there's a parting line right here, and it looks like this whole cover assembly should come off, but you know what? Nope, that's not the case at all. I see two other screws down here, so that means these rocker arms have got to come out first. So, we're going to have to remove these set screws, or at least pull these set screws way up. You know what, just for safety, I think I'm just going to remove them. That way if something goes flying, I'm not going to lose those. Feeling those aren't going to just want to come out nicely. I'm probably going to have to tap those out a little bit. I need to go find what I can do with this. I don't know how easy these are going to be to move. doesn't look like it wants to move. I'm hoping that it'll want to come out this way anyway, just because that's where I'm going to be able to get on it. I may have to actually go and put some oil in here and heat this up a little bit before those things are going to move. Okay, so I applied a small amount of heat. Let's see if either one of these wants to budge now. Yep, it's budging now. Now I just got to find the right size. And see if it's actually going to come out this side completely. Well, I guess I can. That was kind of stupid now. I think I really needed to drive it out this way. Now I'm not so sure I can get on that thing. Let's see, let's try this side now. Just enough to get the rocker arm out. Now I can kind of push that back in. Drive that back in just a hair. There we go. Now I can get at those other screw heads that are down here. Well, it doesn't feel like it wants to move. Pull these push rods out. Now, if this one doesn't want to move either, okay, I'm going to go and drop some oil in there and heat those up. I certainly can't risk stripping those heads. I've only got a couple of drops left of this oil, so I'm going to go apply some heat to those two screws and see if that doesn't help me here. That's pretty good heat on there. These little types of things like this can be a bit nerve-wracking when fasteners don't feel like they want to loosen up and come out. Okay, so now this thing just comes right off, and it's rather warm here because I heated that up quite a bit. Oof. Oh gosh, bless, that is really hot. Push rod tube that's got the dent in it. The other push rod tube. The question is, since these valves are kind of angled like this, it's like, do I actually have to remove a spring or something to pull this thing off first, or what? Looks like there should be enough room, but I don't know. It's weird. I have to wait till this thing cools down a hair. Ooh, man. Oh baby, that thing's warm. Okay, so there's this piece. Still rather warm. So secured with 3 screws, and the screws that came out, just because I've never done this engine before, I'll put these screws back in place here. Just kind of put them in the head here to hold, as, just so I don't lose where these screws went. I also see like some roll pins here that look like they just try to keep things aligned. So we'll see here if get this washer and glow plug gasket out of here. We'll see if a little bit of the heat I already used is enough to loosen these head screws. That one popped 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 head screws. Wow. All of them feel quite torqued, like factory torque. So maybe I'm the first person going down to this level on this engine. Don't know for sure. No way to know for sure, but it's kind of what those felt like. Definitely a lot of machining work or casting. It looks like a cast. A lot of cast, pretty intricate cast for this upper portion of the head. Okay, we're about to see the piston for the first time. There you go. Clearly I just ran this, obviously, so there's some oil there. Let me just do a rub. So I just did a little rub, and you can see I was able to clean up a lot of that discoloration on the piston. So I would say this is a fairly low runtime engine. I mean, it certainly doesn't have 5 or 6 gallons through it by any means. So that's pretty cool. Very cool. Now, as I like to do, drop these screws out. We'll take a look at the valves. Huh, look at that. Obviously some wear or some runtime there, but not an excessive amount for sure. This is a pretty low runtime engine. I'd say this has less than 2 gallons through it, if even a full gallon, really. And that intake valve looks totally clean. The exhaust valve has a little bit of carbon on it. These things feel so nice. I'm not going to take the valves out. I don't think I'm going to do anything to this. I don't even think I'm going to soak it. I think the kind of patina, if you will, color of this engine kind of gives this thing some character. It's really not, doesn't look like it's been exposed to the elements. It doesn't have a lot of corrosion or anything like that. So I mean, overall, you know, it's a 30-plus-year-old engine, but 35, 30, you know, potentially a 35-year-old engine. So I mean, 34. That's not bad shape. Not bad at all. Pretty cool. Very happy with this so far. Let's see how these come out. Some pretty beefy screws back here. Now this will be interesting to see if there's a gasket here. I would expect to see a gasket on this backplate cover. The gasket I saw in that intake manifold was black. So that to me tells me that's not a stock gasket. I don't know that OS ever used black gasket. Okay, here we go. See, this is more like what I would expect their gasket to look like. This is kind of a paper gasket type of thing, and this one is actually broken at the, it's broken there. I'm gonna have to see if I can get a new gasket. It just totally disintegrated. How the hell do you think you'd feel after 34 years, potentially 34 years of good service? No biggie, I'm pretty sure I can get a gasket for that. If not, I can seal it up myself.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Pretty nice looking internals there.
Let's see what this looks like.
Wow, there's really a dark pool of sludge in here. Look at the color of that crap that's coming out of there. That's some nasty looking colored stuff in there.
Overall, it doesn't look too bad in there though. These bearings,
They're pretty well lubed up now. They don't feel too bad. Wonder how tough it'll be to try and get that sleeve out. Use my wood stick here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go heat that up. To get that sleeve out, I'm gonna have to go heat that up. So, let me pause this for a second. Go heat this cylinder up and
shove that sleeve out.